All right. Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. Here we go. Okay, so news overnight or this pre-market is that Putin said that there are positive things coming out of the talks, and of course, the markets ran up a little bit this morning. So far, Nasdaq futures up 161 points, and the Dow futures up 268 points. Looking pretty good on that bit of news, but we were pretty much. Um, Futures was red pretty much all overnight until those comments were made. But I mean, I'm not seeing that any ceasefire happening. I don't see any actual progress being made except as comments. I mean, those are positive things for the market and those are good catalysts. I just don't want to be faked out by it. All right. So I remember the last couple of weeks, maybe last week or so, when there was initially some peace talks happening, the markets ran up in the pre-market and dumped down during the day. So I just don't want to get faked out. So you just got to be careful with these type of comments that Putin makes. But the good news is that we filled this gap yesterday from a gap down yesterday pre-market, so that's positive, right? So at least that we know that we don't have to worry about that gap. The only thing that I'm concerned about is this gap here, back in the 327 to 323 area. And in my estimation, that those gaps are 100% filled all the time. Okay, so there's no ifs and buts about it. So whether it be today, tomorrow, next week, it could be next year. Who knows, right? But these gaps got to get filled. So that's why I'm pretty wary about going into like any type of bullish mode. Now, yesterday, a few days ago, I mentioned in our group that if there's a run up, I think that it'll hit 338 and fall, and it hit exactly $338 today on the Qs anyway. Hit 338 and pulling back here now 334.98. The futures are actually pulling back now based on those comments. So we'll see what happens today. We have next week catalyst FOMC starts to meet, and they'll be announcing some type of rate hike decision, most likely 25 or even 50 basis points if they really want to be hawkish. But as you know, the CPI was released yesterday, and it is slightly higher than expected. So these are things that's going to mess with the momentum of the market. Now, over the last couple of days, I recognize that there were some good run-ups, all right? But this isn't enough to say that there's any type of bullish momentum, because you know why? The volume on the Qs and the SPYs are headed downwards while the prices are going slightly upwards. So that concerns me as well. So you don't want to get trapped into it, but you could play the fibs, you could play, the EMA clouds, etc. Just scalp away. But again, my main thing is that there's this gap that needs to get filled. Now, if I look at the QQQ 4-hour chart on a linear regression channel, you can see the general pattern, right? I mean, there's just no ifs and buts about it. In order for for the Q, for me to be at least bullish, it's got to break out of this downwards channel, right? And that would be around the $342 mark. Okay, 341, 342. Anything above that range is going to gain some traction and momentum. But so far, we are still experiencing on a 4-hour chart lower highs and also very steep lows here. Okay, so look for this area here about 330, 328 area to hold today. If that holds, then it could consolidate within the 330 area. I don't expect it to bust through this channel anytime soon, at least not today anyway. But the key area to watch here is, of course, if we go through 341, then you're going to gain a lot of traction. But if it falls below this trend line here, around 327, you can expect that gap eventually will get filled at some point here. So be careful out there, guys. It is Friday, weekend ahead. I'm not going to do too much either. So, one thing to watch today is also Rivian. Rivian running up a little bit here, 37.50, dropped on the, worse than expected earnings. They did not meet EPS nor revenue expectations. So, of course, that thing knifed down. Could be a good potential short here. It's running up a little bit as it should. DocU is another good short here. Returning back to COVID prices as expected, 77.40. Their CRO left. The guidance was kind of dismal for the remainder of the year. So DocU could potentially be a good short. Let's go over to DWAC. DWAC running up $71, hit a low of 67, about $68 yesterday. I think just still has more room to go down south. All right. So with that being said, I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend and God bless.